Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today's video is part 3 of 3 on building a kick-ass gaming rig. In today's video I will be going through how to overclock the CPU, memory, and video card. Most people know what I'm referring to when I say overclock. For those that do not, overclocking basically means pushing hardware beyond its default speed. So why overclock? Well, it's kind of like getting something for nothing. Let's just say you buy a very affordable 2 GHz processor and you're able to overclock it to 3 GHz. That's a tremendous amount of savings. But overclocking is not guaranteed and it will vary from processor to processor, memory to memory, and video card to video card. So it's really luck of the draw. But you can do your research on CPUs, memory, and video cards to get one that's really going to be successful in the overclocking department. First, let's overclock the CPU. To overclock the CPU, you will need to access the system's BIOS and increase the CPU voltage. To get started, select a high but safe voltage, normally between 1.4 to 1.6 volts, depending upon the CPU. It's also recommended to increase the chipset voltage as well, normally around 0.2 megahertz over the default voltage. This will give you the headroom needed to overclock the CPU. Next, select the front side bus speed and a multiplier. For example, I've selected 400 megahertz front side bus and the multiplier is 8, which results in a CPU speed of 3,200 megahertz or 3.2 gigahertz. The trick to overclocking is to find the limit of the CPU. This has to be done in baby steps. So if the CPU has a 2 gigahertz default speed, then start off at 2.1 gigahertz, go to 2.15, 2.2, and so on until it becomes a little unstable. Instability will indicate that you have reached the CPU's limit. So at this point, decrease the speed until it becomes stable. It's also recommended to set the PCI Express frequency to 100 MHz and the PCI clock to 33.3 MHz. Next, let's overclock the memory. If you wish to have any success in this department, you will need to have excellent memory that's capable of high speeds. In most cases, you will also need to increase the memory's voltage either to its default maximum voltage or go to that maximum voltage and then a little bit beyond it by maybe 0.2 megahertz to ensure that it will give you enough headroom to overclock the memory to where you want to get it. Let's say, for example, you have PC2 6400 memory, then you can easily go up to 400 megahertz, but possibly go higher. To do so, just try increments of 2 megahertz until you find the highest stable overclock. Also, in order to get the most performance from the memory, remember to select the 1-to-1 memory setting. This means that if the front side bus is 400 megahertz, then the memory is also 400 megahertz. The other important item is memory timing. At first, select a loose timing, and this will vary depending on whether you have DDR, which would be around 3, 3, 3, and 8, or DDR2, which would be about 5, 5, 5, and 15. In my case, I know that 400 megahertz is stable for my system, so now I can tighten the memory from its default 5, 5, 5, 15 to 4, 4, 4, and 10. Remember, a stable memory timing is achieved through trial and error, so it will take some time to get this for your particular memory. Try different combinations until you find the best setting, again, for your memory. Like the CPU and memory, video cards have excellent overclocking potential. In order to overclock the video card, software is needed. ATI-based video cards have an overclocking application called ATI Overdrive that's built right into the catalyst control center of the display drivers. If you have an ATI Crossfire setup, then remember also to enable the Crossfire mode. There is also a very useful ATI overclocking and tweaking program called ATI Tool. NVIDIA-based video cards require a program called CoolBits or NTune to enable overclocking. Overclocking the video card is like overclocking the CPU and memory. You're pushing it beyond its recommended default speeds. Although most new video card overclocking applications now have an automatic overclock option, so you will find the most stable overclock without having to manually adjust the core and memory speeds. If you still prefer to manually overclock the video card, first increase the core speed in small increments of 2 megahertz until the maximum overclock is reached. Then do the same for the memory. I hope you enjoyed all of these videos on how to build a kick-ass gaming rig, and good luck building your very own. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds. This has been another video review. Be sure to check back very soon. I will have a brand new one for you then. Also pop into my website at www.3dgameitman.com. But while you're there, you can go into the forums and register. And remember, registration is completely free. Also keep in mind, you can find out a lot more on the products that went into this build in the forum. And as a final note, if you love watching my video reviews, please remember to help support 3dgameitman.com. If you wish to support, please visit support3gm.com. Until next time, take care.